Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. And guys, the content that we're going to cover tonight is the left is getting more and more and more uncomfortable about this whole bump stock Cargill case thing. We are talking about the left coming out and openly saying some very important key words, and they will always tell you what they're afraid of. You're always going to get the flack when you're over the target, and it will always show you enemy number one. And that's what I'm about to bring up, because this bump stock thing has them really uncomfy in their slippers. Just saying. Everything's going to be linked in the description box below for your own review. And of course, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on. And while you're there, make sure you didn't get unsubscribed by accident, because the algorithm is so forgetful these days. So just make sure you're squared away. And this content is brought to you by Vanish Holsters. I'm going to say a quick word, and then we're going to get into this. This is not your everyday range holster. This is the holster that eliminates all your excuses for not carrying your favorite freedom tool. So comfortable, in fact, they offer a guarantee you'll love it or they'll get your money back. It fits 99% of existing models, and you can carry 2 fully loaded mags in this bad boy. Just a few of the features the Vanish holster boasts: it has a no stink material. It wicks away moisture and prevents odor, so you don't have an issue in that regard. As well, it comes in 2 sizes, 48-inch and 68-inch belts. That makes it a perfect fit for everybody, and the belt is fully adjustable. And this holster comes with the most comfortable holster you'll ever wear guarantee. If it's not the most comfortable, they've got you. Also, if you use my code right in the description box, you get 30% off of yourself, plus an additional half off of the next one for your friend or family. Vanish wants to hook you and your family members up. Not only if you click on the link in the description box below do you get 30% off for one for yourself, but you also get an additional one for 50% off the already discounted price. It's right down there in the description box, and act now so you can not only prepare yourself, but also your family and friends with this holster. All right, beautiful people, we are going to dive into this, because this one right here, this has the potential to be a landmark Supreme Court case. If not bigger than Bruin, at least equal, at least in my opinion, because what this is going after, and this is why the left is doing what I'm about to show you, what this is going after is the executive usurpation of the powers of Congress to make laws through changing of definitions. You already saw the West Virginia versus EPA case last year, where they basically said Chevron deference is not cool. You can't just change definitions. Oh my gosh, they're changing definitions in the ATF too. It's almost like it's an executive bureaucratic power grab underneath the president, because Congress won't pass what they want. This is unconstitutional. You also heard Chevron deference come up in the Supreme Court earlier this year, and now the Cargill case is going to stack in that same vibe. All 3 of those cases are all going towards executive bureaucracies making up laws whole cloth and usurping the power of Congress. This is a really big deal, guys. Massive. In fact, let me show you what they're saying here, because you will always look at their why, and you can tell it right off the get by the words they use. Check this out. This is a massive one. Gun bump stocks at the Supreme Court. Whether to treat them as machine guns is for Congress, not the ATF. Well, that's weird. It's almost like Congress is supposed to be making the rules and the laws. I know, I'm probably making that up. We should probably reference the Constitution of the United States of America. Article 1, Section 1. Wow, it's right up there in the front. All legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in a Congress of the United States, which shall consist of a Senate and a House of Representatives. All legislative powers. That's weird. I didn't see a caveat that said, except in cases of executive bureaucracy, because the White House wants to get what it wants done by pulling executive bureaucratic levers because they can't get it through Congress. I didn't see that in there. And by the way, tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Eastern time, we will be streaming it here. We're probably going to be in about 9:45 Eastern time. We are going to be hot on this one, because this live stream is going to be tasty and delicious, and I cannot wait to see you there. But let me show you some more things, because the words they use, people, always pay attention to the words. They always indicate what they're truly feeling. Check this out. Are bump stocks illegal? Supreme Court will decide fate of Trump-era ban. The case is the second involving guns that the Supreme Court will be deciding this year. It centers on bump stocks, which use the kickback of a semi-automatic firearm to mimic automatic firing. Wait a minute. Beautiful people out there. I'm pretty sure the word mimic means to copy or emulate or make like. But why would you have to make something like it if it was a machine gun? Because the entire premise of the ATF was, if something's like a machine gun, therefore it is a machine gun, even though it doesn't meet the statutory definition of a machine gun, it's like a machine gun, and therefore it is a machine gun. Guys, understand how big this has the potential to shake the foundations of the gun control left, because they've been doing this through the executive bureaucracies for the last 20 to 30 years against our gun rights. This is a big one, people. A really big one. And this is from USA Today, by the way, and they even made animations. Washington. After the deadliest mass shooting in the nation's history, then President Donald Trump vowed he would get rid of the device that turns a semi-automatic rifle into something closer to a machine gun. Skirt. Slam on your brakes. Fred Flintstone, that action. All right. Similar or closer to a machine gun. And then in the other one, it said it mimicked automatic firing. So how can it mimic automatic firing and it's similar to a machine gun if the ATF says it's a machine gun? Do you understand what's happening right now? The left, the media, the gun controllers, they are all trying to flood the zone by saying, well, yeah, I mean, maybe not by definition and statutorily, but the spirit of the law, not the actual legislative verbatim words, but the spirit of it. And after all, it mimics automatic fire, and it's similar and close to a machine gun. It's not, but it's close, though. You see how poorly this is lining up? Let's continue. This is a big deal, and pay attention to the words that they use. On Wednesday, the Supreme Court will consider whether the Justice Department had the authority to impose the ban. They didn't. Unlike the High Court's pending decision on a law banning domestic abusers from owning guns, this one doesn't rest on the Second Amendment. Instead, it turns on competing explanations of how a bump stock works and whether it meets the legal definition of a machine gun. It is clear as day that it does not. In fact, they even gave us a really amazing animation at USA Today. Check it out. This is why I came here, for these animations. Yeah. So the important thing here is the actual trigger mechanism is being reset every single firing. Every single one. That's the only way the gun will fire, because that's within the law, which is why ATF approved this device prior, before they changed their mind and did a 180 on it. So how could they say it was one thing and then it's not, and now all of a sudden it is again, because it's similar, but it mimics, but it's not quite, but it might be on Tuesdays if I'm wearing pumps? What? I'm telling you guys, if this drops the way that it has the potential to drop, again, we're streaming this tomorrow morning on this channel. If this drops like what it could, you're talking about something that have the impact level that would wipe out the entire house of cards over the last 3 years the Biden administration has achieved against our gun rights. Whether it's ghost gun regulations through the frames and receivers rule, the pistol brace rule, the bump stock ban from the Trump era. If any one of these fall, they all fall, because they use the exact same strategy. That's something that I've been saying for what seems like years at this point. They built their entire strategy on a definition and reinterpretation of existing definitions in the law by usurping the power of Congress. And now they've got a court case in front of the Supreme Court, which is could be uncomfy. It could be not great. So now, let's hear from the defendants of the ATF, the actual Solicitor General. She's coming up in 1 second. Yeah, Elizabeth Praligar, I know you guys love her. Under a law modified in 1986, a machine gun is defined as, quote, any weapon which shoots, is designed to shoot, or can be readily restored to shoot, automatically more than one shot without manual reloading by a single function of the trigger. It's not a machine gun, and they know it. That's why they're going after but they could fire it so fast. It may be similar or mimic, but it's close. Close only is good with horseshoes and hand grenades, not executive law. Anyway, let's hear from the actual lawyers here, and then we'll get Praligar, because I love me. You know what? No, I'm doing Praligar now. Quote, Congress did not ban all new machine guns in 1986, only to allow the ban to be circumvented by a trivial shift in the locus of the shooter's pressure from the trigger to the front grip, the barrel, a button, or any other similar contrivance, Solicitor General Elizabeth Praligar told the court. Now, here's the only problem with Solicitor General Elizabeth Praligar. She works for the Biden administration. She's defending the ATF, and in fact, she's the exact same Solicitor General who we heard, in our cases, utilize the Bruin decision to satisfy the history, text, and tradition of discriminating against people as history, text, and tradition of gun control. To Clarence Thomas. I did the videos right here. It was cringy to the nth degree. But anyway, that's Elizabeth Praligar, and I'm really looking forward to hearing her tomorrow. But now, let's go down here. Let's really hit where the gun rights groups went. The multiple gun rights groups that have weighed in on the case point out that the hundreds of thousands of Americans who own bump stocks, relying on the government's pre-2018 determinations that they are allowed. The groups also ask, what's next? If a president can order the ATF to ban bump stocks, he could use the same definition to ban semi-automatic weapons, they argue. That's exactly on point. That is over the target. That is why they are so freaking out about this, because that's the entire point. If the ATF continues on its march of doing whatever I want, and the same thing with the CDC, same thing with the EPA, the executive bureaucratic levers of power in this nation are out of control. Again, going back to the cases I referenced earlier, West Virginia versus EPA last year, the Chevron deference case this year, and now the Cargill case. The Supreme Court, who is right-leaning and has a pretty strict approach to originalist viewpoints of the Constitution, this is going to be one to watch, and make sure you guys are here. Everything will be linked in the description box below, and I can't wait to hear what you guys think. And, of course, make sure you hit that like button, and I will see you on the next one.